he was limping pretty good coming out of the locker room.
Yeah, I think we'll give him through the week and see where he's at. But I'd say it's more of a week-to-week type deal.
Any chance that Bullard gets back for this week?
We'll see. I mean, we got to get him out there in the practice field and see how he's moving around. He's definitely moving around the facility better, but doesn't mean you can go out and play a football game.
Obviously, your run game's been super good, but the second halves of the games, it hasn't been. I mean, it wasn't just last week, but in previous weeks too. Do you need to, I don't know, what's the adjustment? Do you need to throw the ball more, or is it bad execution? I guess, what have you seen from that regard?
Yeah, I think it's all of the above. I think there's opportunities that we're not taking advantage of. Specifically, that first drive in the second half, that was disappointing. We had 2nd and 2. We go to one of our bread and butter runs, and we get 1.5 yards, and then on 3.5 yard, we don't convert. We don't block their best player right in the A gap or B gap, whatever it was. So yeah, we've got to execute better. Certainly, there's times where we as coaches have to put our guys in better position. But yeah, that's why both teams get paid, because they're going to make adjustments, and we just got to make sure we try to stay a step ahead of them. I do think there were some times where we were running the ball pretty effectively in the second half. It was too inconsistent. And we knew it at halftime that they were probably going to start amping up their level of pressure, and we saw some more cover zero in the second half. And then we didn't necessarily make them pay when we did see those situations. We had an opportunity down in the red area where it was 3rd and 5. We get a false start. It's cover zero. Christian Watson's uncovered. And then we finally made it. We missed Jaden Reed on the outbreaker versus cover zero where he slipped. And then we finally made him pay at the end of the game. Rome made a hell of a catch. But I think there was a lot of ops in the second half offensively where we didn't capitalize, and we got to make more plays.
Matt, Carrington's played a lot of big snaps for you the last 2 years, but how big was that with him getting that pick, and especially his first NFL one, but also in that situation?
Yeah, he didn't want to catch it the play before, so I said very few times in life do you get a second chance to redeem yourself, and he did. And that was a spectacular interception. Got to work on the ball security a little bit. It was really loose. Probably should have stayed back in the end zone, but it was a heck of a play. You talk about just a big momentum shift. You're up 17-3 it's either going to be 17-6 or 17-10 with getting the ball back, and for us to be able to go down and get some points out of it, to go up 20-3 at half. I mean, that was a big shift in the game.
Staying in the end zone, I mean, I'm sure it's really hard in the moment. You want to make a play, but what do you tell those guys to do in that situation?
Stay in the end zone. And what's funny is because we always present and show different examples of guys, like when you bring it out, when you take it in. But we showed on Friday, just so happened to be there was a play where a ball was picked off. The defender got 2 feet inbound, or in the field of play, and his momentum took him into the end zone, and just quizzing our guys and just making them understand that ball's going to go wherever you possess the ball if you get 2 feet before you hit the end zone. And those you absolutely want to take out. So I think it's a good learning experience for everybody, but yeah, in a perfect situation, you'd like to stay down. Now, he did a nice job of getting the ball out to the 15, 14-yard line, something like that. But yeah, it was a phenomenal play. I mean, he was covering his man. He came off his man. They threw a corner route, and he made a circus catch. So I thought CV played an outstanding game. I think he's been stacking a lot of good days of work on the practice field, and I think it's paying off.
How have you seen the connection with Jordan and Christian these last 5 games or so, because they've had a big play in 4 of them? How have you seen that improve as the season's gone on?
Yeah, I think Christian's been practicing better. I think he's had a great, probably, I don't know, last 2 months, he's really showed up, and it's showing up on game day. So he's made a lot of great plays. That catch he made on the sideline, that was big time. He also drew a pass interference call. That was a 40-yard penalty that doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but that was a big-time play. So, and not to mention, he's blocking his butt off as well. So he's doing, in every phase of the game, he's been A+. Guy is extremely intelligent. We can move him around. He rarely will have a mental error, and he's doing a good job of winning his one-on-one opportunities.
You had a high opinion this offseason of what Josh could bring as a receiving back out of the backfield. What's been the evolution of that this season? Because it seems like, especially of late, really since the bye, he's had more games where he's been more involved as a receiver.
Yeah, and a lot of those have been either screen opportunities. We threw at least 2. I think we threw 3 screens to him, and then Jordan did a great job of hitting him on a check down when they were playing deep, and he made a guy miss and ran through another tackle and got a 20-yard gain out of it. So I just think he's got really good hands, and he's dangerous in the open field, and he can make you miss or he can run right through you.
Is that a process for the guy when he comes in that you don't want to give him all that at once? So do you have to build that?
No, not at all. It's, are you capable, or and he's certainly more than capable. So no, all the backs, no matter who's in, they're going to have a responsibility in the pass game. It's always, unless we're scatting and doing a 5-man protection, it's always protection first, and then here's your route. Now, when we start putting guys in the screen game or having them run routes out the backfield or lining them up as a receiver, that's more, I would say that's more scheme-driven, where we're putting them in a position to do what they want to do versus, being a check down. But we knew going into the game that checkdowns were going to be a big part of this game. They do a good job of keeping a lid on the coverage. Those safeties play with a lot of depth, and so we knew that checkdowns were going to have some opportunities. And I thought Jordan did a great job when he hit Tuck on a checkdown where we weren't clean in the pocket, where our protection wasn't as good as it should have been. And he hit Jaden Reed on the one right before or during the 2-minute drive. I can't say enough about Jordan's ability to avoid the negative play and making those drastic movements in the pocket and getting the ball out for positive plays. Like, I don't think people understand, and I think it's overlooked, just the value of what he's able to do and getting the ball out of his hands and not taking sacks.
How do you get him to do that again? Because early in the season, it didn't seem like it was as frequent as he's doing now, where he's hitting a lot more checkdowns now.
Yeah, I think it's just, he's a smart guy. He learns from every experience, and, it's something you drill all the time, and you just keep talking about and showing examples of especially when you're doing it well, and he's doing it at a high level.
Okay, Matt, will he be limited at all this weekend?
No, he should be all right.
Like he was limping just.
He was. I think he got his shot on his thigh or something.
Matt, as far as Edgerton, it's tricky coming off a hamstring injury, and he missed some games. What was it like to see him play so freely, and even, that first sack, even kind of setting the tempo for the defense?
Yeah, he did an outstanding job, and then, he was one of our defensive players of the game, and he was also one of our special teams players of the game. So, he had 3 tackles on kickoff. That's rare that you see that type of production. So, yeah, it was cool to see. He's a really talented guy. He did a great job in multiple other situations on that screen play where they hit Jackson Smith-Jigba out the backfield. That was just an elite play by somebody that has elite athleticism.
You guys can clinch a playoff berth with a win. Is that something at all?
I'm not worried about playoffs. Not worried about it. I'm worried about us continuing to get better, staying in the moment, focusing on what's right in front of us, and it's by attacking our practices the right way and just building our habits. And it's all about how we improve throughout this process. And whatever happens, happens.
I know it's a Monday around here, but how far along are you on the Saints, and what have you seen since they made the coaching change, if you've kind of dove in there somewhat?
We're just kind of getting into it right now. Like, we got back so late yesterday. Yeah, I guess technically yesterday. Came in, knocked out basically knocked out the game, watched it with everybody, and kind of got our meeting set for today. And then more or less, it was more of an organizational, like get all the cut-ups ready to roll so that when we got in today that we're on to the Saints.
It was good watching the film. What did you see from the defense outside of course, the dominance that the stat sheet shows?
Exactly that. I just love our style of play. It wasn't perfect. It's never going to be perfect. They hit us on 2 bounce schemes that they got big explosion plays on. Outside of that, I thought our run defense was really solid. We had a busted coverage where they hit a big play that led to a field goal. So, but all in all, I thought we did a great job. We did what we needed to do in terms of we knew that they were going to run screens on us, and they didn't get much mileage out of the screen game, and we got constant pressure on the quarterback, and I thought our coverage disguise was outstanding. I thought that it really fooled the quarterback in some instances where, he's seeing single high and it goes to too high, and it can cause a guy to hold the ball a click longer than he might like to, and by that time he was getting engulfed by the pass rush. So, I thought they did an outstanding job. Guys working together. We were setting picks with whether it was our 2 D linemen setting picks for each other, whether it was a linebacker running through setting a pick for a D lineman, and they just did. It was 11 guys playing as one. It was really good.
All that said, pass rush, do you feel like you guys found something there that you can carry with you going forward? You talk about needing to get better.
Well, I think every game's a new opportunity, a new challenge, and so you can't just rest on what you've done. You got to keep digging, and this is what I'm talking about in terms of where we need to focus. Like I said, it's never going to be perfect, but you got to keep striving for that perfection, and it starts with how you attack practice, the energy you come into the building with. So that's kind of where our focus is.
What is it about Hafley's scheme that you think has made your run defense better this year?
I just think it's, every year is different, but I don't know. I think our ability to, adjust when need be and give different looks, and I think he's done a good job. He understands where we've gotten beat, and tries to scheme it up and get guys in position so that it doesn't happen, or stay one step ahead of the offense.
Third downs, red zone, ending game situations, Romeo seems to consistently come through in those moments. What is it about his game that allows him to produce at those critical times?
Well, I think he can produce anytime when given the opportunity. We're not throwing the ball as much as we maybe have in the past, and but I think Rome, it all starts with the work he puts in. That catch he made on 4th down, outstanding. And like I told the team, it's not a secret why this happens. I mean, the guy spends more time on the jugs machine than anybody I've ever been around. I mean, he's got unbelievable hands. I think he's done a great job with his releases, knowing what to do, playing decisively. So he's playing really good football right now. He shoot the slant. He carried a guy into the end zone. So he's playing physical and playing aggressive.